The train station clock had stopped working years ago. No trains came anymore. No people waited. And yet, on this night, a single train arrived, carrying someone the city didn't know it needed. The city of Ravenport was once alive. Factories roared day and night. Shops stayed open late. Children believed they would grow up and never have to leave. But that was before the factories closed, before the streets emptied, before hope quietly packed its bags and left without saying goodbye. By the time winter arrived that year, Ravenport felt like a place time had forgotten. The train station sat at the edge of the city, rusted, silent, abandoned. The schedule board still hung on the wall, frozen on a date from 10 years ago. No trains, no future. Or so everyone believed. That night the wind was sharp and unforgiving. Only one man stood on the platform, Eli Carter, the station's former supervisor. He wasn't waiting for a train. He never was. He came every night out of habit, out of memory, out of the quiet hope that something, anything, might still arrive. Then he heard it, a sound that didn't belong, a low vibration, steel against steel, a distant horn. Eli froze. The rails began to tremble, and slowly, impossibly, a train emerged from the darkness. It stopped with a tired sigh. One door opened, and a woman stepped onto the platform. She was alone, mid-30s, long dark coat, a calm expression that didn't match the city around her. She looked at the station, then at Eli, and smiled, as if she had been expected. "Is this Ravenport?" she asked. Eli swallowed hard. "Yes," he said, "but you shouldn't be here." She nodded. "I know." Her name was Clara Hale. She didn't explain why she came. She didn't ask for directions. She only asked one question. Where do people go when they've lost everything? By morning, word spread fast. A stranger arrived on the last train. Someone new walked the streets, someone who didn't look lost. People watched from windows, from broken storefronts, from behind years of disappointment. No one trusted hope anymore, and Clara knew it. She spent the day listening, at the closed diner, at the empty schoolyard, at the church with more chairs than people. She listened to anger, to regret, to stories no one had told in years, and she never interrupted. That night, Clara returned to the station. Eli was there again. "You won't fix this place," he said quietly. "Many tried." Clara looked down the tracks where darkness swallowed steel. "I'm not here to fix it," she said. "I'm here to remind it." As she walked away, Eli noticed something strange. The station clock, frozen for a decade, ticked once, then stopped again. Far beyond Ravenport, another train engine stirred, and somewhere in the darkness, a conductor checked his watch. Morning came slowly to Ravenport, not because the sun was late, but because the city had forgotten how to wake up. Storefronts stayed dark, windows remained closed. People watched the streets the way you watch a memory, from a distance, without touching. Clara noticed this immediately. She walked through the city with the same calm pace as the day before, but now eyes followed her. Not curious eyes, cautious ones. At City Hall, the doors were open, barely. Inside, 5 people sat around a table built for 20. Mayor Thomas Reed leaned back in his chair, arms crossed. "So," he said, studying Clara, "you're the woman from the train." Clara nodded. "I am." He sighed. "You won't find work here. You won't find opportunity, and whatever you're looking for, it's already gone." Clara met his gaze. "I'm not looking for opportunity," she said. "I'm looking for people who still care." The room went quiet. Someone laughed under their breath. Ravenport had heard speeches before, promises too. They came every election cycle, left every winter. And Clara understood that skepticism better than anyone. She didn't argue. She didn't persuade. She left. That afternoon, she visited the old library. It was supposed to be closed, but inside she found Maya, a teenage girl sitting on the floor, surrounded by books. "You shouldn't be here," Maya said without looking up. Clara smiled gently. "Neither should half the world," she replied. Maya finally looked at her. "You're the train lady." "I suppose I am." "People think you'll leave. They always do." Clara sat beside her. "Then let's surprise them." By evening, something small, almost invisible, happened. Clara helped repaint a broken mural downtown. No announcement, no cameras, just a brush and color. One wall, one change. Not everyone liked it. The next morning, the mural was vandalized, paint splashed over Hope's first breath. Eli saw it first. He shook his head slowly. "They're not ready," he told Clara. "You should go before this place breaks you." Clara touched the chipped paint. "This place isn't broken," she said. "It's just afraid." At sunset, the city gathered unintentionally, not for Clara, for the argument. Some wanted her gone, others defended her. Voices rose, years of silence finally erupted, and Clara stood quietly in the middle of it all. Then she spoke, not loudly, not forcefully. "I didn't come to save this city," she said. "I came because someone once saved me." Silence fell. "And I never found out who," she continued, "so I stayed long enough to become what I needed back then." That night, Ravensport changed. Not completely, but enough. The train station clock ticked again. Once. Twice. Far down the tracks, a signal light turned green for the first time in years. By evening, something small, almost invisible, happened. Clara helped repaint a broken mural downtown. No announcement, no cameras, just a brush and color. One wall, one change. Not everyone liked it. The next morning, the mural was vandalized, paint splashed over Hope's first breath. Eli saw it first. He shook his head slowly. "They're not ready," he told Clara. "You should go before this place breaks you." Clara touched the chipped paint. "This place isn't broken," she said. "It's just afraid." At sunset, the city gathered unintentionally, not for Clara, for the argument. Some wanted her gone, others defended her. Voices rose, years of silence finally erupted, and Clara stood quietly in the middle of it all. Then she spoke, not loudly, not forcefully. "I didn't come to save this city," she said. "I came because someone once saved me." Silence fell. "And I never found out who," she continued, "so I stayed long enough to become what I needed back then." That night, Ravensport changed. Not completely, but enough. The train station clock ticked again. Once. Twice. Far down the tracks, a signal light turned green for the first time in years. Far down the tracks, a signal light turned green for the first time in years. The city woke up angry. Not loud angry, not violent. The kind that settles in the chest and stays there. The mural was gone. Not vandalized, erased, painted over with the same dull gray that covered everything else in Ravenport. Clara stood in front of the wall for a long time. She said nothing. By mid-morning, the rumors began. She stirring things up. She gave people false hope. She brought outsiders attention. By noon, City Hall released a notice. All unauthorized projects are suspended. By evening, the message was clear. Clara was not welcome. Mayor Reed avoided her eyes when they crossed paths. "This city can't afford disappointment again," he said. "People are barely holding on." Clara nodded. "That's why I'm still here." He exhaled sharply. "That's exactly the problem." The turning point came that night. A fire broke out in the old textile factory. Not large, but symbolic. The last place that still employed anyone, even part-time, was gone by midnight. The sirens echoed longer than usual. Not because help was slow, because there was nothing left to save. Eli found Clara at the station, suitcase beside her. "You're leaving," he said. "I don't want to," she replied, "but staying might hurt them more." The wind moved through the empty platform. Eli stared down the tracks. "You arrived on the last train," he said. "There may not be another." Clara looked at the suitcase, then at the city lights, dimmer than ever. "I know," she whispered. Before dawn, the city gathered again. Not for her, for the announcement. The state had officially classified Ravenport as non-viable, funds withdrawn, programs ended, end date assigned. People stood in silence. Some cried, some stared. Clara stood among them, unseen, unnoticed, just another face in a city being erased. That night she returned to the mural wall, gray, lifeless. She placed her palm against it. "I tried," she whispered. Behind her, a voice answered, "So did we." Maya stood there, then another person, then another, one by one, with brushes, with color. They didn't speak, they painted, not to fix the city, to say goodbye, or maybe hello. As the sun rose, the mural returned, different, stronger, not hope, defiance. In the distance, a train horn sounded, not arriving, but answering. A city doesn't come back to life all at once. It remembers itself, one voice at a time. The mural did not change Ravenport overnight, but it changed something deeper. People began stopping again, not to complain, not to argue, just to look. And when people look long enough, they start to remember. The first call came from outside the city. A small logistics company noticed activity on the old rail line. Someone had flagged a green signal manually. They asked a simple question: "Is this line operational?" Mayor Reed stared at the phone. No one answered him, because for the first time in years, no one wanted to say no. Clara stayed in the background. She helped organize volunteers, cleaned streets, opened locked doors. She never stood in front. She stood with. And Ravenport noticed. Eli reopened the station, not officially, not legally, but honestly. He dusted off the benches, oiled the clock. When it started ticking again, it didn't stop. Resistance remained. Some people still believed it was too late. You build hope just to watch it collapse, they said. Clara listened, then answered quietly, "Hope collapses when it belongs to one person. It survives when it belongs to everyone." The breakthrough came without applause. The first freight train request arrived. Not passengers, supplies, materials, work. The rail company didn't promise permanence, just a test run. But Ravenport didn't need promises. It needed proof it still existed. The night before the train arrived, the city gathered again, this time intentionally, at the station. Someone fixed the lights, someone brought coffee, someone else brought music, and someone painted a small sign, "Welcome back." Clara stood at the platform's edge. Eli joined her. "You could leave now," he said. "No one would blame you." Clara smiled. "I was never meant to stay." The tracks hummed softly. As dawn approached, the sound returned, steel on steel, slow, deliberate. The city held its breath. As the train lights appeared on the horizon, Clara stepped back into the shadows, just as another stranger watched from the opposite platform. As the train lights appeared on the horizon, Clara stepped back into the shadows, just as another stranger watched from the opposite platform. The train arrived at dawn. Not loudly, not dramatically. It rolled into Ravenport the way it once had, as if it had never left. People stood in silence as the doors opened. Supplies unloaded, contracts signed, hands shaken. The city was officially back. News traveled fast, not as a miracle story, as a quiet correction. Ravenport had not been dead. It had been waiting. Mayor Reed addressed the crowd. No podium, no speech, just truth. "We failed this city once," he said. "We won't do it again." No applause followed. Something better did. Work. Clara watched from the edge of the platform. Maya stood beside her. "Are you staying?" she asked. Clara smiled gently. "No." "Why?" "Because if I stay," Clara said, "you'll forget it was always you." Eli found her near the clock. It was running perfectly now. "I never asked," he said. "Why Ravenport?" Clara looked at the tracks. "Years ago," she said, "I arrived here broken. A stranger gave me a ticket and hope." Eli waited. "I never saw him again." The suitcase returned to her hand, this time lighter. As she stepped onto the train, Clara paused. She looked back at the city, at the people, at the mural, at the station clock. The train doors closed, the horn sounded once, and Ravenport didn't feel abandoned. It felt trusted. As the train disappeared beyond the bend, Maya noticed something. Another figure stood on the platform, a stranger, watching, waiting. The train station clock paused, then ticked. Somewhere far away, another city waited, and the last train of hope prepared to arrive.